All right. So one of the things we want to do is on page 134 is just a couple clarifications I want to go through. Typically, we led you to the concept of dimorphism was just unique to that of the hydrozoans. The scyphozoans actually go through that as well. And sometimes a lot of the information can change from the copyright on this edition, as you can see, is the 5th. And I believe it's in the 2nd edition that I used to use. I don't believe that same information was in there. But anyway, I just want to do a couple clarifications on here. On page 134, the left-hand column, okay, where it says the medusa, the scyphozoans, unlike those of the hydrozoans, have no velum. So they're still structurally different. That's one of the aspects that we want to make for a clarification when you're describing these in getting ready for your exam that's scheduled for Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to take some time to go over this today, and then tomorrow, notice you have some vocab terms. Make sure we're ready for those. You'll have the rest of the period today to look at those and get those papers done. They're also due tomorrow, and some of you are probably done already. And if that's the case, then great. Then one less thing. Anyway, the bells of different species vary in depth from shallow saucer shape to deep helmet or goblet shape. But again, the main things I just wanted to illustrate that this dimorphism is not just unique to that of the hydrozoans. It also happens in scyphozoans, but we want to make that clarification that the velum is present in medusa of the hydrozoans, not the scyphozoans. And then finally, we want to talk about food gathering. That's going to be one of the aspects we'll be going over here shortly as well. So on the right-hand column on page 134, where it talks about the mouth, we'll just go through this very quickly. The mouth is centered on the subumbellar side. The manubrium is usually drawn into the 4 frilly oral lobes. Okay, that's one of your vocab terms as well. Oral lobes is just going to be those structures that you would guess surround the mouth, and that's essentially true. Okay, used in food capture and ingestion. Now, marginal tentacles may be many or few. There may be short, as in, don't worry about that class, as in, or the other one. The tentacles in the manubrium and often the entire body of the scyphozoans are well supplied with nematocysts. So the importance of that, what is inside those nematocysts? It's a specific type of cell. And I guarantee you that's one of your vocab terms that you need to know for tomorrow as well. Cnidocytes. So what's the importance of those cnidocytes then? If we know what it is, it's just as important to know what they do. Cnidocytes. Yes, they produce the venom. Okay. Scyphozoans feed on small organisms from protozoans to fishes. Okay? And one of the reasons we say that or say it's so important is because the fish are so much faster than that of jellyfish. Okay? Capture of prey involves stinging and manipulation with tentacles and oral arms. That's one of the things we did not talk about in class. We said manipulation of the tentacles. That's true, but we want you to distinguish what those oral lobes are doing as well. Okay? Or oral arms. Okay? But methods vary. Okay? These are caught in the mucus of the umbrella surface, carried to food pockets on the umbrella margin by cilia, and packed with pockets of the oral lobes, whose cilia carry the food to the gastrovascular cavity. Cilia on the gastroderms keep a current of water moving to bring food and oxygen into the stomach and remove waste. Okay? Internally, 4 gastric pouches containing nematocysts connect to the stomach and scyphozoans, and a complex system of radial canals that branch out to the pouches to the ring canal. Completes the gastrovascular cavity through which nutrients circulate. Okay? Now, that's where the digestion is taking place, but where do they actually absorb the nutrients, though? You're right. What are these? Yeah, in the tentacles. That's right. Okay, so one of the things we'll go over one one of the essays today and one tomorrow, unless you just want to do both of them tomorrow. I don't care. It's your time. I want you to use it wisely. You could be a little short tomorrow because of what's asked of you. So one today, one tomorrow. Okay, fair enough. So let's go ahead and we're going to talk about food gathering. Okay, I just wanted to make that small note in there, just the idea of what structures are actually involved and how they're different. Okay, so when it comes to food gathering, we're going to use the scyphozoans. Okay. And notice they have different types of, whether it's small plankton all the way up to fish. So we're going to use fish as an example. Okay? All right. So perhaps the first thing, maybe if a fish gets too close to their tentacles, which remember is a unifying characteristic of all the animals in this phylum. So if a fish gets tangled in the tentacles, what's probably going to happen once it gets entangled in those tentacles? You're going to want to name what the structures are inside those tentacles. And we had just talked about them. You already answered them. So chances are you know. And maybe you want to spread the wealth or you just want to see if other people know. Yes. Okay. So we want to talk about the nematocysts. What's the importance of the nematocysts? Okay, you're already given the end result. You're saying it's venom, but how does that venom get in there, though? It has to be produced by the cnidocytes. That's right. Okay. So, in the tentacles are nematocysts. Okay. And again, in those nematocysts, these structures contain venom. But there again, you need to know how does that venom get there, and again, it's produced by you correctly saying the cnidocytes. Cytes produce so now we got this venom. What's going to be the function of that venom? Why is that important? You're right, but why are you right? Yeah, the jellyfish are much slower than that of the fish. Okay? Which immobilizes, like you just said, okay? So now that you have this fish immobilized, how's it going to get from there into its mouth? That's one of the things we just read in the textbook. It's not just the tentacles, because they're just mainly flopping in the water. There's something else that will bring those prey items to its oral lobes of its mouth. Ooh, I think I just said it. Oops. Not oral lobes, but oral arms instead. Okay? Right where you left it. For joy. I kind of threw you for a loop. What we should do is just say, it's Dalton, isn't it? Tell him, get out of your chair. It's not, oh, no, maybe it's Eli. Does Dalton want to move? Are you sure? He's fine. Well, don't let him intimidate you, just because he's taller than me too. So, fair enough. This is going to be easy money, right? Oh, well, that's the spirit. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so now we've got this prey item immobilized. So how's it going to get from point B? How's it get from point A, tentacles, into its mouth? Okay, so oral arms. Bring prey item to its mouth. Now, the last thing we want to do after it gets into the mouth, it's going where? For digestion to be initiated, not absorbed. This will be the last step we do on this. The gastrovascular cavity, that's right. And to gastrovascular cavity. Okay, we went through that really, really fast, and I know my handwriting's not the best. This is probably my third or fourth cup of coffee, so I might be shaking a little bit. Is there anything there that you can't read? One of the things I should do as an experiment is how many without lines can write straight across? I probably could. Okay. So is there any questions over this? Now, a lot of the food gathering is going to be very similar through all these. We're just picking the jellyfish, okay? Because that's probably the one, and that's what we had seen the video on. That's what you're most familiar with, okay? Providing there's no other questions, we will stop there for today, and the rest of the time then will be yours. Left outside, are we good? Left middle? 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 Okay, right middle? Right outside? Okay. All right, we will catch up to you next time.